I don't see the recording yet. There it is.
Oh. Hey, sports fans, PB&Z Sports Chaos. We're back at you. All right, we got a lot to talk about. It's April Fool's weekend. Yeah, I know it was yesterday. MLB opening day was yesterday for some games, some today. We had a snowball in Detroit, if you saw that one. Sox did not play, but they played today. They looked horrible. I think it was 3-0 last I saw. They lost. We got some COVID cancellations. Unfortunately, the Nets and Nationals did not play because of COVID. But it's also March Madness weekend. And we'll talk Frozen 4 next week because that's next weekend. All right. Hey, PV, I got a couple things here for the 2-minute drill before we get into our MLB predictions for this season. Todd McShay, I don't know if you saw this, his latest mock draft. He now has the 49ers moving up to draft Mac Jones in the third spot.
Yeah, he's saying that Mac Jones is right now behind Trevor Lawrence, obviously, and now also behind Zach Wilson, but somehow moved ahead of Justin Fields and also moved ahead of Trey Lance.
I don't get it. I mean, I like him if he was like the 15th pick for the Pats, but the third, I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't know, man.
I think they're saying he's a better fit. He's a better fit with Shanahan.
Yeah. By the way, he also has the Pats moving up to the 11th to get Justin Fields, who slides. That's not a bad deal, right?
Yeah, that's not – I mean, he could slide. Someone might slide in this draft because a lot of teams that are picking up near the top have quarterbacks. And obviously, if you have quarterbacks, you're going to be looking for guys who can catch the ball. So you're going to see Kyle Pitts go off the board. You're going to see Chase go off the board. You're going to see Waddle potentially go off the board, Devontae Smith off the board. So you have 4 pass catchers that could go in the top 10. If that happens, one of those quarterbacks could slide down to 11. That's possible. Whether the Patriots trade up, though, to get that, I don't know.
TBD. That's all we can say. But I don't know. Hey, speaking of quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson. All right, PB. I just heard this yesterday. It's now up to 21 civil suits against him. But his attorney, Rusty Hardin, is every single lawsuit with an athlete in Houston represented by Rusty Hardin? It seems like everybody from Roger Clemens on has been represented by Rusty Hardin if you're in Houston. But anyways, apparently Rusty interviewed 18 other masseuses who said he was a perfect gentleman. So, PB, I got a question for you. You got 21 who say he's a bad guy, 18 who says he's a great guy. Is the bigger problem here that he can't find the right masseuse? I mean, what? WTF? That's, if I'm doing my math right, that's 39 women. He can't find the right one in 2 years?
He likes variety.
Oh, I guess so, man. Oh, I don't know what to do. All right. Hey, Robert Kraft had an interview the other day, and he came out and said, basically, Bill Belichick's draft record sucks. But he didn't say that directly, but he implied that when he said, we have not drafted well over the last few years, and Cam needs better weapons. So, did Robert Kraft throw Bill Belichick under the bus?
Well, considering Bill Belichick is the head coach / GM, in a way, yeah. I mean, Robert Kraft isn't out at the pro days watching talent, right? That's Belichick's game, and in a way, he did throw him under the bus.
And by the way, hey, we know Kraft doesn't put up with this stuff. He threw Parcells out of town when he wouldn't let Parcells pick the groceries, right?
Yep. Good point.
I don't know, man. PB, I've said this a number of times on the show. There's a quote out there. I forget who the author was that said he caught Robert Kraft saying, if Belichick goes under 500, I'll kick that SOB's ass out of town. So who knows? I don't know. We'll see. Hey, interesting thing. NFL, they have finally approved it. We talked about this for a number of times now. 17-game season. You can never go 500 again.
No, not until it goes to 18. But yeah, yes, the AFC will be hosting those games. So the Patriots will pick up another home game. They're going to play the Cowboys.
All right, more to talk about that. Hey, MLB, we'll talk more about this momentarily. Sox, they played today. We got to talk Boston sports for a moment. The Celtics, I don't know what to do, PB. They really, really suck, and it's getting to be pretty bad. I mean, Stephen A., Max Kellerman, those guys get paid a lot more money than you and I. Does Danny Ainge should be fired? Who should be fired here?
I don't know. Is it Ainge or is it Bradford that should be fired? I mean,
well, Stevens has to go. I agree with you on that. I agree with that.
Brad Stevens, yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little college real quick before we get to MLB. Frozen Four, we'll do it next week. But what an epic game last weekend. 5 overtimes. PB, did you stay up for it?
No, I did not stay up for it. Lots of surprises in the men's hockey tournament. And down to the Final Four. The only one left from New England is UMass. So we got to see if the Minutemen can get to the finals. We'll know next weekend, right?
Yeah. All right. Hey, basketball. So men's and women. First of all, let me start women. So we got some good games starting tonight in about another half hour. We got Arizona and UConn, and then we got South Carolina and Stanford. People say UConn shouldn't be there. They won this game with a 4-foul attempt at the end of the game when the girl from Baylor got fouled. But I got to talk one thing for a second. Paige Buchers, I believe how you say her name. I call her Paige Buckets. She's the freshman, and she's the player of the year. Is this girl unbelievable or what?
Pretty impressive.
I will say this. Men out there, if you watch the PB&Z show, if you do not watch women's basketball, watch this one game tonight. Paige is phenomenal. Trust me on that. All right, the men's basketball. PB, it's going along the lines we talked about. You got Gonzaga. Most of us said Gonzaga would be there. You got Baylor. Houston. Some people said Houston. And then you got UCLA coming out of the dark. From the play-in game to the Final Four as an 11th seed. Do they have a shot?
No. I don't think they do.
Down. All right. I love it. All right. Moving on. All right, buddy. Let's talk MLB. Hey, by the way, we already had a cancellation from COVID. The Nats and the Mets, they shut it down for 2 days. Not a good sign, right?
No, but, it's expected. There's going to be some cancellations. They're going to play it safe, just like hockey's been doing. A lot of cancellations in hockey as well.
All right. So. Speaking of the Mets, Francisco Lindor, $341 million, now the third highest valued contract. Good deal for the Mets or what?
Yeah, I mean, those studs shortstops are hard to come by, and when you get one, they get paid, So I think it's a good move. I think he's got a good career ahead of him.
I find it interesting he's got a contract $1 million better than Tatis.
Yeah.
All right, let's do our predictions. You ready?
I am ready. Where do you want me to start?
AL East, what do you got?
AL East. I got the Toronto Blue Jays winning the AL East this year. I know I'm leaving the Yankees out of the equation here, but I do like their bats are pretty impressive. Their lineup, Vlad Jr., you got Teoscar Hernandez, who hit a bomb last night. Shortstop, Bo Bichette. He's got a bright future. They picked up George Springer. They got Marcus Semien on that team now. I think they had a great lineup. As far as pitching goes, that could be suspect, but right now you look at that, top of that rotation, you got Han Jin-Ryu, who they picked up from the Dodgers, Robbie Ray, former Diamondback, and Tanner Roark, a former Washington National. So I like that top three in the rotation. If they can stay healthy and give them some innings, I think Toronto can win the East.
Well, I like what you're thinking. I had them going into the wild card. We'll talk about that momentarily. I'm just not sure, but you make a good argument because I don't know if the Yankees have a rotation either. So that's a good pick. Maybe. We'll see. All right, who do you got in the Central?
Central, I got the Chicago White Sox.
All right.
I like
Vegas does too.
What's that?
Vegas does too.
Oh, they do? Okay. I thought maybe they would have Minnesota, but I like Giolito at the top of that rotation. He's a potential Cy Young candidate. And one of my favorite young players right now in the league is their shortstop, Tim Anderson. So we'll see what they can do. But I like them to win that division. Just a weaker division if you look at some of the divisions in the league. I think both Centrals are kind of weak.
I would agree. All right, let's talk about the West. What do you like in the West? By the way, I got the White Sox too in the Central. What do you got in the West?
I know you're gonna hate this, but I got the Astros. I just don't really see any other team there competing. It's kind of a weak division. Greinke and McCullers at the top of that rotation are good, and then they're loaded. Their lineup is still loaded despite the loss of Springer, but they do have coming back from injury, young DH. I mean, he normally could play the outfield because he has an injury. They're going to leave him at DH this year. Jordan Alvarez, and he's only 23 years old. He could compete for the home run title this year. So I do like their bats, and I like their top part of their rotation. So I'm going to give you Houston winning that division.
I like Houston, the Pukes, for a wild card. I think, and I'm praying because I want to see Mike Trout, the best player in the game. I think they win that division, Angels. All right.
Angels.
So let's go to the NL before we pick our wild cards. Who do you like in the NL East?
Yeah, the NL East probably is the strongest division in the entire Major League Baseball. Atlanta, Washington, Mets, I mean, they're all top 10 type teams. Philly and Miami could surprise a few people this year. But I got to put Atlanta at the top of that list just because I think top to bottom, they have the best rotation in the entire league. And one of the pictures that they have, Ian Anderson, relatively young kid, I really like his potential to be a breakout star this year from a pitching perspective. And then, of course, you got MVP potential out of Acuna Jr. there as well. So I do like the Braves to win the division.
By the way, there's a lot of publications less smarter than you and I to have the Braves winning that division as well. So, and going much further, we'll talk about that momentarily. All right, so you get the Braves. Who do you get in the Central?
You got the Braves too?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. In the Central, this might surprise a few people, but I got the Cincinnati Reds. I think this is another one of the weaker divisions in baseball. I do like their top half of their rotation, or the top three in their rotation. Castillo, you got Sonny Gray there, former Oakland A, former New York Yankee. And then a kid that I think is going to have a breakout season as well, Tyler Mahle. Remember that name. He could have a big year for Cincinnati at that third spot in that rotation. And then from bats perspective, I like Nick Castellanos in the outfield. You couple that with Joey Votto. You got Moustakas. Yeah, you got Mike Moustakas there in Cincinnati now. So I think they got a good lineup as well to complement that pitching staff. I'm going to give them the division.
Wow. All right. I got the Cardinals up and not even close. And by the way, I don't have the Reds second. I have the Brewers. So let's talk about the West. This should be, I hope, very clear, but tell me.
Yeah, well, it's not really, because you could make an argument that the two best teams in the entire Major League Baseball are both sitting in this division with the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Diego Padres. But you know what? When you look at paper, Los Angeles Dodgers are just stacked. They have, Mookie, Bellinger, and Corey Seager potentially are MVP candidates. You got Trevor Bauer at the top of that rotation, Kershaw at the top of that rotation, and Buell is no joke either. He's another guy that could surprise a few people and be in the Cy Young running as well. So when you talk about that kind of talent and looking at all-star potential across the board with this team, the Dodgers, to me, are the clear favorites to not only win that division, but potentially repeat as World Series champions. So
let me ask you a question. Who do you have in second in that division?
Well, in second in that division would also be my wild card team, which would be the San Diego Padres.
Okay. Hey, by the way, speaking of those Dodgers, I'm with you. I agree. Dodgers won, Padres second, and they're probably the two best teams in the entire NL. Did you see the game yesterday when Bellinger hit a so-called home run, and Justin Turner had no idea what he was doing on the base? I've never seen that in my life, where the guy that hit the home run crosses the path of the guy on the base going back to his original base. What? WTF, Justin Turner? Did you still have COVID or what? Come on.
That was bizarre. I've never seen anything like it either.
Oh, man. All right. Give me your wild cards. Let's start with the AL. What do you think?
In the American League for wild card, my first wild card is the Tampa Bay Rays. They have a great rotation, I think. Glasnow is a Cy Young candidate. Him and Giolito should be running for that Cy Young in the American League. Yabo, good pitcher. Michael Walker, Chris Archer, Rich Hill is their number 5 guy, Massachusetts product, right? And then they do have the potential rookie of the year on that team too, in Arizarena. And if he can do what he did in last year at the end of the season, in this season, you're looking at a team that I think is going to be right there in the end. And they're last year's American League champions. They were in the World Series last year, so I'm not going to count them out. I have them winning the wild card.
All right. Before I ask, who's your other wild card?
Right. Leaving the Yankees out of this equation altogether.
Ah! Can't believe it.
All together.
I'm not a Yankees fan to hate them. I love your audacity, but really?
Yeah, I'm leaving them out. I got the Minnesota Twins as the other wild card. Again, they got Maeda, Berrios, Pineda, top 3 in the rotation. I like that. I think Byron Buxton is one of the most electric players in the league. So I'm looking for a good year out of him. And I think that team can definitely finish behind the White Sox and vie for that other wild card spot. They'll be right up against I know I'm leaving the Yankees out, but I think they'll be there.
Wow. All right. I agree. First of all, I don't think I mentioned this. I have the Yankees win the AL East. Toronto's the wild card team out of that division, for sure. Out of that, division. I don't see. Oh, man. All right. I've got Toronto playing Houston for the wild card. Houston does not win the West. They do not win the West. Angels, I think Mike Trout, Asani Otani, however you say his name. I think they finally pull it off, and we get Mike Trout finally in the playoffs. I don't see the Twins, believe it or not, I don't see them making it. I know a lot of people say they will. I don't see it between those other 2 teams. At the end of the day, it's between the Yankees and, I hate to say this, oh my God, the White Sox. And I think the White Sox pull it off.
That would be great. I would like to see them get back to the World Series. It's been a long
35 years later, coaching the White Sox. We'll see. Right.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I don't see Tampa Bay. I know they've had a lot of magic for the last 3 years. I think the magic's over. I think Cinderella slipper falls off.
Yeah. I like Tampa Bay to beat Minnesota, though, in the wild card. So that would put Tampa Bay, Toronto, the White Sox, and Houston into the Final Four there. Really could go anywhere. I don't have the Yankees in the equation, but I think in the end, it's going to be Houston, and I think it's going to be Tampa Bay. I think it's going to be Houston and Tampa Bay fighting for the World Series.
All right, fans, listen, PB's been in Florida for over a year now. His brain is sun-baked, so don't hold it against him. All right, we're moving on. Let's get to the NL. I don't believe where you're coming from, but all right, I'll give you the credit. NL, what do you got in the East? I mean, we already talked about it. What do you got for the wild card?
Yeah, I already said San Diego was going to be my second place team in the West, and they would be my wild card. So San Diego's one of them. I love Tatis. Machado's part of that lineup. That's probably one of the best, 3-4 hitters in the league.
I agree.
And then, Yu Darvish and Blake Snell as part of that rotation. You can't count them out. So they got one wild card. The other wild card, I really had a tough time. I was looking at, it's hard, again, to leave out the Mets. I left out the Yankees, but guess what? I'm also going to leave out the Mets. So I got none of the New York teams in there. I gotta go with the Washington Nationals.
You know what? I did pick the Mets, but I'm with you. The Nats are if there was a 3 wild card like it was in 2020, the Nats would be there. I'm with you. They're very close. I could see you get a coin flip. All right. I give you credit for that.
So I got you can't. Max Scherzer, one of the best in the league, and then I think Juan Soto is potentially the MVP of the National League this year. I mean, he's going to be up against guys like the aforementioned Acuna Jr. at Atlanta and Mookie and Bellinger and those type of guys as well. But I can see Soto right there in the mix. And I love their show. I love Trey Turner. I think he's a great all-around player. And that's my wild card.
All right. So your World Series is who?
Oh man, so I think San Diego could beat Washington in one game, but Dodgers and Atlanta are going to be in that. I don't want to pick that now. I'm giving you my final four. I got the Dodgers against Atlanta,
Right.
and I got Houston against Tampa Bay. That's my final four. We'll pick those later.
All right. Next weekend, we'll have a little Frozen Four talk, some more NFL, which is now a 365-day conversation. We'll be talking what happened in the first week of baseball. And, of course, NHL, it's starting to heat up a little bit. We don't know what's going on with our Bruins, PB. I don't know, man. You're going to talk about this next week. Come prepared, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Fans, signing off. PB&C Sports Chaos. We'll talk to you soon.